Yo, 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 it's Brian from quantlabs.net here. Well, maybe some of you don't know, but I've been visually looking at the Matlab's MuPad editor and functionality, which is part of the symbolic math toolbox. Now, it got me thinking. I just recently purchased an iPad, the new one, the third generation. So I thought, I'll start looking around and see what kind of apps I can get for either the MuPad, the Matlab, and lo and behold, I found some really cool apps. I'm not going to say applications, apps for the iPad. Two that really popped out for me was one called PyCube Calculator, something like that. PyCube Calculator, $15. Jeez, for what it does amazing things. It's a lot of bang for your buck for sure. One of the cool things that I thought I could see myself using with it is the ability basically to, and I'm not joking when I say this, to visually build an algorithm on your iPad through purely touch, the ability to rapidly build it and then bang it out and export it via, just send out email. It will email it in a latex format, or it will export it as plain text. So that got me thinking for anything further. So I started thinking about, well, latex. What can you do with latex from the world of Matlab? Came across there's something in R called Sweave, but it wasn't quite what I thought it was able to do. I would have thought that it would be nice to see if you have something in the latex format, which is really more of a reporting language that enables you to display algorithms and equations in how you see in research papers or in books. That language is a way of formatting to display equations like that. So I thought it'd be kind of cool if you could have the ability to reverse that, where you import your latex into Matlab, and then no different than what Matlab does with the math symbolic toolbox, be able to dynamically convert that latex code into Matlab code. I've shown a demo of how it is done with a MuPad. I know that's possible, but it would be nice to be able to see that kind of import. Now, again, I mentioned Sweave. Can it be done? It's not what I thought. So what it's doing is it's just taking objects from R, your data variables or whatever it might be, your vectors, and enables R to communicate with your latex code, and then you'll be able to do something like building dynamic plots based upon that latex formula or equation from your data from within R. There looks like there can be done with Matlab as well, called Matweave, but I'm not really going in that direction. So latex is not an option. But then there was another product I came across for iPad called PC Calc P3 or something like that. There's links to my quantlabs.net site, which will give you further detail of these apps. And it's a very sophisticated calculator that you can actually calculate your formulas on the iPad through this app, and it will import your MuPad code. Now, the cool thing about that is if you don't have the ability to develop on your iPad with Matlab. Let's say you don't have a license for Matlab, however much it costs, $500 or even $500,000 for whatever. But you don't have a license for the Matlab mobile, so you can use the Matlab mobile on the iPad. You need a valid license, so that is not really an option at this point for a lot of people. But this calculator might be cool if you're on the go and you need to basically bang out your model and then be able to do it through this calculator app and then have it, voila. I'm going to be interested in to see if there's any export capabilities. I mean, there's a lot of importing capabilities from MuPad, from Maple, but I'd like to see some kind of export. Now, if that's possible, where you can maybe export it into a text file, like no different than the Pi cubed app, then we're on to some. But either way, I'm still for $15. It's a no-brainer. It's no loss. But I mentioned this also. There's another app called Coder for iPad. So you're not really doing real development on it, but you're able to at least look at code, be it C++, C#, Java, or whatever language. And you can, using Dropbox, you can actually drop your code into Dropbox and have access to your server. But the point is there's some really cool development happening here on an iPad. And for those that are Mac heads, this is where I kind of get envious. Parallels has got an option where you can develop Parallels mobile. So if you have an emulator in Parallels for your Mac, like in Windows, you can have the ability to run and play with your virtualized environment in your iPad. I think that's really cool. I know there's some VMware apps out there, but they're more for the server side to manage like ESX and all your virtualized your virtualized machines, your VMs. So it's not quite there yet, but there seems to be some big potential with the iPad, from what I'm seeing. But regardless, as it stands right now, currently the model development, the modeling is pretty powerful, and it's pretty compelling. So if you get those two apps for $30 with the iPad, you know, you're already off the races. So I thought I'd mention that, and I might do an actual review on all these iPad apps as I work with them, as I get into the real hardcore development on models and strategy development, all that stuff. Just thought I'd help you out.